Good morning. I did this. I'm going to do it again. It seems like I've got to at least do something twice in order to get it right. But I am going to go ahead today and do our our weekly forecast, and I'll share my screen. And I have a new deck, Tarot LaCroix. And as you can see here, we have our 3-card reading. And it starts out past, present, and future. We have the sun in the past. And today's chart is the U.S. Constitution chart. It is the reading for Sunday, 6/26/2022 through July 7th, or excuse me, July 3rd, 2022. And what might be going on? Well, we have quite the week that happened last week, which is we learned that the Supreme Court, in fact, did overturn Roe versus Wade. So we have this moral dilemma under the light of the sun as we speak. And if you notice the sun, it's a 19, it's a major arcana, and 19 is going to be a 1 and a 10, which means that it's in a completion process. Something has come to a conclusion and something new is coming. And you notice that the sunflower has all the seeds. And I believe that that's kind of representative for children. And notice that the woman in the background is in shadow, that the focus is on bringing awareness to the divine feminine, our ability to bear children. And notice that she's holding the sun. So although it appears this decision has been made and it is supposedly the Supreme Court and solid and whatnot, it's the law of the land, I think there's more yet to come. I think that this is blowback. And so then we move on to 3 of Wands. Why are we having blowback? Well, we went into a process where previous to 45, we had a president who was ethnic in nature. And you'll notice that this person who his back's turned to us, that it's implied that this is an Asian person, so a person of ethnic nature. So we are in that process now of looking at our values, if you will, our ethnic values. Do we make a judgment that if you're not a certain ethnic heritage, you're not leadership quality? And I think that that's what's shifting at this point, that in fact the 3 of Wands would say teamwork is the dream work, right? But a lot of times in teamwork, you have people with vastly different ideas coming from vastly different ways of seeing things. So one of the areas this reading is saying that we are right now being enriched is really looking at the ethnic aspect of who we are, and maybe not being so judgmental and quick to dismiss someone of color as a leader. And I think that, as strange as it is, Obama was the president not that recently, really. I mean, it was fairly recent, but not really. I mean, but we're seeing the blowback now, where we're saying, oh no, we can't have this kind of immorality. We need senile white men running our country in order for it to be right. We need Puritan white is right. And that's really troubling to me. I find that one notion to be so disgusting and so pig-headed that I'm really troubled. So, that's my rant. Okay, let's move on to the 3 of Cups, where really ultimately in the future, it's about going back to understanding what is teamwork within the family. And I think if the courts are going to take the position, and the law of the land is, you as a woman cannot get an abortion regardless of your circumstances. And quite frankly, I'm even a little bit concerned that if you have a miscarriage, that even that could be viewed as a legal failure and perhaps a moral failure, and that there is some punishment for that. That I don't know how that might work. What do you say to a person? You lost the baby, how dare you? Myself, and I'm going to say this, and this hit me like this right away. Now, I'm a mystic. I'm a psychic. I've been a psychic my whole life. I've been a reader my whole life. I do it by nature. I've always been a reader. One of the things that I'm sensing in this law is that not only is this a moral judgment on women and pregnancy, but it's a moral judgment on women and their ability to even maintain a pregnancy, which is saying that if we bit the apple and we get pregnant because, God forbid, we had sex, then we need to be prepared in all ways to accept responsibilities and take our punishment as women and have a child and raise that child, regardless of the various circumstances that it might present to us. And that's really, in a lot of ways, outrageous. And what if you get pregnant by circumstances like rape or incest or medical, you find yourself pregnant and you can't really handle the pregnancy? I've had all of this, by the way. I have a child who was imposed upon me. Now, I love my child. I made a decision not to have an abortion. I made a personal decision. It was my right to make that decision. And thank God at the time, no one was there to tell me otherwise. But I had my child. But let me tell you something. Having a child when you feel like a victim is not the best choice. And it has led to me and my son and I, having a lot of inner conflicts where we've had to work hard and we're still not there. We still have issues on ways of learning to communicate and get along, because he feels violated that maybe I didn't openly want to have a child at that time. And this all had to come out through counseling, and I feel bad about it, but there's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. It was a circumstances that occurred. And again, I love my child. I made a choice to keep him, but that was my right to choose. It's not something that someone should impose upon me. So now I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share again. Let's just get to share screen, and we will get to this hand rendered chart. And what we have here, again, like I said, is the US Constitution chart, where it is saying that it's low on earth. What does that mean? Well, I think that it means that the Supreme Court at this time is lacking a sense of what's best for those of us who live on this planet. They're stepping into this very watery energy, this very watery collective relationship energy, and saying, air, they've got their water dominant, 7 points water and 6 points air. And they're stepping in and they're saying water and air. They're saying, hey, I don't really care what you think. You're going to do this. This is the law of the land. And I'm here to tell you what you have to do, not what you want to do, what you have to do. And when we're legislating parenting, are we really helping a child? I don't think so. And we have a system in the United States, which is fairly disgusting, in my opinion, in that we don't want to provide for these children. Now, I was in the foster care system, so I can speak on this with some authority. We generally lack the clothing, the self-esteem, the family support, medical care, food and supplies, all of these things, every last one of them. I've had all of it happen. And almost without fail, every foster home I was in, there was incidents of inappropriate natures taking place with the children. I've been molested in foster homes. And right now, my daughter, as I've mentioned before in readings, is in a lot of trouble. And it is appearing as if the system is about to take her children. Now, my granddaughter, thank goodness, is no longer in my daughter's home. She's now with her brother, who is stepping up to the plate, which I'm very proud of him. But wow, what a burden. He's only 21, he'll be 22 in July. And here he is stepping up for the sake of protecting his own sister and doing what he can. So when we make rules, when we legislate like this is really a troubling truth. And we're talking about now a forecast where we've come in and we've said, okay, we're going to make these laws. Our Supreme Court is a bought and paid for body that is acting on behalf of a process that isn't taking our essence and our human souls into consideration. They're viewing us strictly in a Puritan way. So we, being low on earth and very low on fire, there, in fact, not low on earth, no, there's no earth at all in it. So meaning that when it comes to our circumstances here, they really just, like I said, they don't care. And fire meaning that they're not motivated to take the right, the best actions for us. They're more motivated to say to us, this is the law, you will follow it. And why did this occur? Well, a lot of it occurred because we had, God forbid, a Black president, where now we're being told socially that was unacceptable. And even if we're not being told that directly, I think morally we're being told, you went the wrong direction and we're here to pull back all stops. You're not going to be gay and married. You're not going to have abortions. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. You're not going to be transgender. You're going to be cookie cutter and do it exactly the way we tell you. And I find myself shocked beyond words when you have a Supreme Court Justice, Clarence Thomas, who in fact is enjoying some of this flexibility in our law by being married to a white woman who at one time that was illegal. So these are the kind of pressures we are as a social system under. This is what's being looked at. This week is things are really in focus. And, obviously with the January 6th trials, we're hearing a lot of things that are highly disturbing about our political circumstances that we find ourselves in. But in order for change to truly occur, we need to be very aware of what's really wrong. And so is this a bad thing? Probably not. This level of darkness will bring about light. And with that, I thank you very much for joining me here today. Please do hit the like, share, and subscribe. And check me out on www.twiggie.com. We just finally got that website up and running. And if you hit shop, you can find where I have some readings now available online. I am highly limited in my availability. So if you are looking for a reading and you find that my calendar says I'm not available, please do contact me so we can make arrangements to have you set up for a reading. And with that, I thank you for joining me here today.